Hello class, welcome to another lesson. Today's learning goal is I can give the equation for a graphed line in slope-intercept form, and I can graph a line when given an equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we're going to be able to go back and forth between an equation and a graphed line. So let's go ahead and get started. A linear equation, notice how there's the word line right here, okay, is an equation with x and y, so both variables have to be present. That when graphed is a line. The most common form of the equation is written in slope-intercept form. Okay. It is written in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-coordinate for the y-intercept. Slope is how far up or down a line goes for every step to the right. Lines that go down as it travels left to right have a negative slope, and lines that go up have a positive slope. So here, going left to right, we see that these two, okay, are going downwards. Okay, that means that these two are going to have negative slopes. Okay, so here, this one right here, okay, has a negative slope because it goes downwards as we go left to right. This one has a negative slope because it goes downwards as we go left to right. This one goes upwards, so this one has a positive slope. Okay, so m is negative for these two, m is positive for this last third one. Okay. So slope. Slope can be found by identifying 2 points on a line, finding the change in the y-coordinate, and dividing it by the change in the x-coordinates. Okay, that is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Okay, we'll come back to this equation in a later lesson. I just want you guys to be familiar with it right now and what it looks like, and I'll explain what that means later on. But I'm going to show you guys an easier way to find slope. Okay, so we said that this graph right here shows a line that has a negative slope. Okay, and we say that the change in the y divided by the change in the x between 2 points on the line. So here I found 2 points on the line, okay, 2 points that we can easily identify. We can see that our slope, if we go over one down to the line, it's going to be a little bit more than -1. Okay. So what we can see is that here we go over 3 steps, down 4 steps. The change in the y is down 4, so the change in the y we say is -4, okay, because of right here, from this point down, this is 4 steps right here. Then horizontally we go forward 3 steps, so divided by 3, because that's the change in the x between the two. Okay, so we know that our slope is -4/3. Okay. Again, over here we can find that this is a point that we can easily identify, and this is a point that we can easily identify on this line. And we know it's going to be negative, so we go over 1 and we go down 3 to get to the new point. So therefore our slope is -3/1. Again, it's the change in the y, the up and down, over the change in the x, the left and right. Okay, we call this, sometimes we call this rise over run. Okay, so the rise, which is -3, over the run, horizontal, running is horizontal, okay, rise over run, and change here is 1. Here in the last one, we can see that this is going to have a positive slope, and it's going to have a very small positive slope because we have a point right here, okay, and a point right here. So we're going over 5 steps, okay, so we're going over 5 steps. 5 is going to be our bottom part, okay, and we're going up 2 steps, so that means that we're vertically changing it to 2, so our slope is 2/5. So we can see that right here, if we go over 1 up to the line right here, this kind of looks like a 2/5 increase. Okay, 2/5, 4/5, 6/5, 8/5, 10/5. We can see that the change is overall 2 when you go over 5 steps. Okay. So go ahead and try to find the slope of these 2 lines. Here we can find 2 points on here. That's one point is right here, and another point is right here. Okay. We can see we're going to have a very small positive slope, and our vertical change is a positive 1. Our horizontal change is a 4 to get to the next point, so it is 1/4. You can see that 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. After 4 steps, we get a whole change of 1. So each one of these small steps is a change of 1/4. Okay. Here we have a negative slope, and we can find 2 points. So we got 1 point right here, and another point over here. Okay. So we have a change in vertical of -3. Change in horizontal of over 4. Our run is 4. Our rise is -3, because it's not really a rise, it's really a fall. But rise over run, changing our vertical, change in vertical over change in horizontal. In slope-intercept form, we can identify the y-intercept, that is the point which the line passes through the y-axis, by looking at the constant in the equation. The constant is going to be the y-coordinate for the y-intercept. Okay, so here we can see our y-intercept is right here at 0, -4. Okay, so our y-intercept is 0, -4. Our slope, we can easily identify that by finding 2 points on the line. So let's go with this one and this one. We can see that it's over 1 down 2, so it's -2 is our slope. And because of that, we know that y equals mx plus b. The m is the -2, and the y-coordinate, this -4, okay, or -4, is going to be our constant. So we have y equals -2x minus 4. So what we can do is take a look at this next one. The y-intercept, we can see, is 0, 2 right here. So 0, 2. Okay. The slope, we can see, is going to be a positive slope, and we can identify it by finding 2 points. So we'll take this point and we'll say this point right here. Okay. And our vertical change is 2. Our horizontal change is 5. So our slope is 2/5. Go ahead and pause the video and try to write the slope-intercept equation for this line. What you should have gotten is y equals 2/5 x plus 2. Go ahead and try this last graph on your own. So in doing this, you should have found that the slope was a positive 3. The y-intercept right here is 0, -1, giving us an equation of y equals 3x minus 1. So here, this asks us to graph the equations that are given here. Okay. So this first one has a slope, or excuse me, let's start with the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be 0, -5, so that means we're going to have a point right here. Okay. Our slope, remember that even though there's no number right here, there is a 1 that we just don't write. So our slope is a positive 1. That means that every time we go over 1, we can go up 1. So over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, and so forth and so on. And if you graph it, your line should look something like this. Okay. Over here, again, we always are going to start with our y-intercept. So our y-intercept coming from right here is going to be 0, 2. And we know that our slope is going to be -2/3. So every single time you go over 1, you go down 2/3. But an easier way, as we know, is we can look at this as our rise over run. So we go over 3 steps because of this 3 right here. So from here, we go over 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. This 2 means that we're going to go down 2 because it's a negative slope. So over 3, down 2. We can do that from this point as well, over 3, down 2. And if we do that correctly, our line should look something like this. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Here, our y-intercept is 0, 1. So it's going to be right here, and it's a positive slope. Okay? And that means that every single time that we go over 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a spot right there. And we connect those two lines. We find our line to look something like this.